Howdy folks, George Shively with you again on another project. This is another Tiara that we have the benefit of working on. As you can see, there's some older sea-wide systems in the boat. In addition to Simrad AP22 Pilot, great pilot. You drive a truck over that thing, that still works. So it's back in the day when Simrad was Simrad and not Simrad as Navico, which is it is today. So anyway, we're gonna take all this out and we are gonna put in a new fascia panel like we do, and we're gonna paint that Tiara gray and put two new 16-inch displays in here from Garmin, along with a new radar and sonar module. So just kind of want to give you a look here of how things look before we get going. Stay tuned, we'll be back. Hey folks, we're back with you here on the Tiara. One of the most wonderful things about a Tiara is that the helm does this. It tips forward so that you can actually, or aft as the case may be, so that you can actually work on it, which obviously a lot of other boat builders haven't gotten a clue about, that boats actually need to be serviced as opposed to sold and forgotten. But there's a ton of stuff back here that looks like this that there's just no reason for. I've got this. I've got another situation down here. Of course, nothing labeled. Why would you want to label anything? It's a disaster. And it's unfortunate because, as I said, Tiara helms are so freaking beautiful. S2 really knows how to put together a boat. But then, unfortunately, you get people to work on them, and they do that kind of stuff. So I just kind of wanted to show you what we're dealing with here. It's going to look a lot different when we're done. A lot of this stuff will be gone. A lot of the wiring, all of the wiring cleaned up. So just want to show you what we're dealing with. Back with you here, folks. We've made some progress on the helm here. As you can see, obviously the two main displays are been taken out. There's actually two different power feeds for the electronics here. This we determined to be the bridge supply. You kind of wanted to identify that with, you know, your breakers down here. Kind of hard to see, but where's the one that says bridge supply line A? Nope, no, wrong. It was up here. Anyway, you wanted to bridge supply, there it is. You want to be able to identify what breaker turns on power here because there was no indication before. And then there's another source for power right down here that has a different breaker that supplies power to it. And that's okay, but it's nice to know, like that's the electronics breaker on the panel. This is the bridge supply breaker on the panel. It's nice to know what those are. So, and again, this will all be going here, and there will be ATO style fuse holder here labeled so that we know exactly what everything is. And same down here, and there'll be a few extra spots so that if anything additional wants to be added, it can be. So, stay tuned. Howdy folks, George Shively back with you. Just want to show you a quick view here of inside the helm. You'll notice that it's quite a bit different. We've consolidated a lot of things, got rid of things that are no longer needed. Big thing here is before we just had terminal strips for power, and then we had unmarked fuse holders going into that terminal strip. We now have an ATO style fuse block. We have the source labeled for where the power is coming from to that fuse block, and also where the power is going to. It just makes it easier if you ever have a problem. Wiring's been cleaned up a little bit. Also, you'll notice we did the same thing on the back of the helm here, where there was just a terminal strip. It is not a good idea. So hopefully you can tell that the back of the helm is cleaned up quite a bit. It may not seem like it, but trust me, it is cleaned up quite a bit. The wiring that used to be attached in this area down here is gone. So just did a lot of cleanup in there, trying to kind of make things look a little nicer. So doing some wiring, getting ready for the new displays to go in. Stay tuned. Howdy folks, back on the Tiara here with you. Just want to quickly show you the final thing here inside the helm, final view inside the helm. We added our NEMA 2000 network there for the two new Garmin displays that are there, and got everything wired up, and again everything nice and neat in the back of the helm. Took out a lot of the stuff that was in here that was just a mess, stuff that was mounted down here on the wall which was difficult to get to. Added our two new power points, everything labeled so we know what's what, and again everything labeled down here on our NEMA 2000 network. So that's where we're at. Stand by. And here's a final look at the helm. As you can see, we have a new fascia panel in. The other one wasn't bad. I mean, it was made out of black starboard. It was okay, but obviously you can tell that when it's color matched to the helm, it tends to fade in a little bit more than having the black helm. So anyway, that's what we've got here. Sounder is on here. We can go home. We can go to our radar screen, different radar options. Close everything out, go back to home, and go split frequency. Diff our split frequencies, 50 on one, 200 on the other. Chart plotter, you know how this stuff works. So so it worked out pretty well. I should probably get a light above this so that we can see this a little better. As I said, the gray just kind of blends in a little bit better with the helm than the black that was there. Autopilot is the same, and VHF is the same. Again, thanks for watching. South Shore Marine Electronics, George Shively, 216-407-6553. Email southshoremarineelectronics@oh.rr.com and southshoremarineelectronics.com. Thank you, folks.